Testing, testing. That seems to be working. Hey, what's up, Murcha? How you doing? I thought I'd do a live stream today. So hopefully the sound is on. Let me see. Okay, yeah, there's a little bit of a lag issue going on, but that's okay. Okay. See if we can make this a little bit smaller. Straighten this up a little bit. So I've been practicing like anatomy a lot more. Trying to get a little bit better at it. In terms of the kinds of characters that I want to create. And kind of stepping away from trying to do like the traditional stuff that I've been doing. And sorry if you guys can hear people outside. There's kids outside doing whatevs. Just let me know if you guys can hear me or not. It's always a struggle to know. So I'm going to be making her waist kind of short. And I'm going to try to push the legs a little bit more, making the legs a little bit more like longer. So about this radius is kind of where I want to go with the legs. Just to kind of practice, see where it takes us. And overall, the general shape of this is okay. It's just they could be a little bit better. I'm going to just kind of put this kind of silhouette in here. It's not really going to be the collarbones. It's just going to be a silhouette of the collarbones. Yeah, let me know if I'm like too low or anything like that. I can see if I can bump it up a little bit more. You sound low? Okay, let me see if I can actually... Let me see if I can actually bump it up a little bit more. Okay, hopefully, because I'm bumping up the volume, so let me know if this is good. I bumped it up a little bit higher. If it's too loud, I'll take it down a bit. That should be good though. Let me also see if I can increase the... There we go. All right. So if you guys don't know, I'm actually working on the body of this character right here. This is a character that I just worked on. And I kind of want to just like practice the body a little bit more. I did do a bust of it, but I want to practice to see if I can get like a body going for this character. So see if we can do that or not. I still think that maybe the ribs are a little bit too big. Normally the ribs are a little bit bigger and longer, but I'm trying something out to see if it looks a little bit better. Okay. I think these are poking out just a little bit too much. Trying to keep her in that realm of like being thin, really thin. So just trying not to overdo everything. Okay. Putting most of this stuff like up. So the main focus right now is I'm just kind of working on the silhouette and just trying to get like an overall shape going on that I like. Okay, so we're gonna go in here with this and let's see if we can maybe get some legs that we like. I think bringing them out, because I want to make her legs like really thick at the top and then kind of like more thin at the bottom. So like really thin down here going into the legs. I want to like kind of have like that kind of like Persona 5 look. So we're going to try to see if we can get that look. And I think that her legs are still a little bit too long, or short, so let me lengthen those up a little bit more. Okay. Her legs are going to be super big at the top. Well, not super big, but you know, more bigger than usual. Okay. And then they're going to get really thin as they get down here, so all the muscle structure is going to kind of get a lot thinner as it gets down here. Just going to have some thick thighs going up in here. And we want to push this out a little bit more. And I still feel like maybe they're not like wide enough, because I feel like they could be tilted a little bit more. Let's bring that in a little bit. Okay. Do I still sound low? Or no? Or yes? Okay. It's about subtle shapes. So let's get these knees in here a little bit. Okay. So a lot of this stuff should be transitioning pretty well. So that's something that I need to fix. Okay. So let me just actually kind of round that off. Yeah, the transition in the waist area is kind of what I'm liking. I gotta fix that a little bit more. Still sound low? Wow. Okay, let me bump it up a little bit more and see if this helps. Okay. So does that help at all? If that's not helping, then I'm gonna need to figure something out. Okay, I'm gonna put a gain on it. And then we're gonna bump that up to maybe 10. So hopefully that fixed it. Okay. Hey, what's up, Chris? How you doing? How have you been? You stopped streaming on Twitch? Honestly, I've I don't know, man. Like I haven't stopped streaming on there. It's just I'm just sick and tired of the copyrights and the BS. And I know it's like worse on here, but I don't know. Like I'm just tired of a lot of this shit. It's really demotivating, you know. All these rules and regulations that are happening constantly. And I get that people want to be protected. But when you come up with rules like stating that people could literally like you could get a copyright strike for just like any kind of audio playing in your stream, even if it's by accident, I feel like demotivated to do anything. Although I do get like more like I guess benefits on Twitch, like when it comes to monetization, because I don't make any money on YouTube. I still don't. I still am not motivated to do literally anything. Doing good, thank you. How have you been, mate? Hanging in there, man. Day by day. Got done working for studio, and I've just been relaxing and trying to relax my back and everything, and taking it one step at a time. What happened to my older videos? I took them down because me personally, I don't feel like they're good enough. The stuff that I've learned in the last like year and a half have really opened up my eyes to the fact that I want to bring better content to my viewers and not like just videos that aren't really going to help. So I really want to bring more content to my viewers that are going to help. So I'm trying to do better in a sense. Even if some of those videos did help, I feel like they're not, in the long run, they're not going to help you. They may help you now, but in the long run, they're not going to help. So I just kind of want to do better. The workflow that I do for my characters is I go into Dynamesh first to block out a lot of the big forms. Then I go into Sculptors Pro to get some of the details, like the mid details that are going to be captured in the ZRemesh. And then I use ZRemesh with subdivision levels to refine it. So I use all three of them. It's just how I use them in order. A lot of people just like to go from one to the next to the, and then that's it. But I kind of like do it in a chronological order. So I don't prefer one over the other. I kind of prefer all of them. These are too big. These are too big. I feel like I'm liking the shape of this. Twitch is protecting this LGBT extremist and pushing their ideology, and they censor you for making them. Well, if you know anything about politics, which I'm sure a lot of people know a lot about politics, but pretty much corporations, they like to get you angry. They love to piss you off. Why? Because it's easier to predict you when you're pissed, right? So they campaign and do a lot of stuff to piss you off, because a lot of this stuff, like, you go outside and you talk to anybody and they're like, this is ridiculous. But the people who are in charge are the people who have the money, and the people who have the money are the ones who want to piss you off so that you go and buy the opposite, or you go, like, they're hurting you. Like, that's what they do. That's essentially, how to hurt customers this day and age. It used to be like, let's try to appeal to your sense of pride or your sense of, nationalistic behavior. But now companies are like, we don't want to do any of that. We just want to make you pissed. So you go in the opposite direction and you buy the opposite. It's ridiculous. Like, a lot of the people who hold a lot of the power, the people who like do stocks and shit, like people who invest, and those are the people who are basically like the a-holes who are hurting you, like, because they know that when you're pissed, you're gonna buy the opposite, and then they bet on that, and then they win, and then allow. It's like a fucking big circle jerk of bullshit. I can go on and on about that bullshit, but I'm not gonna do that, because all at the end of the day, it's only my opinion. It's not set in stone, but I don't know. Maybe I have no idea what I'm talking about. Maybe I do, and I just guessed that off of a whim. So don't get too angry, because then they're gonna be like, "Hey, look at that guy. He's angry. Let's blast him all over the place and ruin him, blah, blah, fucking blah." You know, don't get too mad about it. Just be like, whatever. Is using base mesh a bad habit? Not if it's what you're looking for. Like, if you're looking for it to be a certain way and to look a certain way, then why not use it? If it's like already 90% of what you're looking for or what you're trying to achieve, then I'd say go ahead and use it. I mean, especially if you're, using it for a professional thing, if you're using it for trying to be fast in the professional world, go ahead and use it. But if you're just strictly learning anatomy and you're trying to figure out anatomy and you want to get better at it, then it's pretty much a bad habit to use it, because you're always relying on something that somebody has already done. A lot of the people that I watch nowadays, like, they use base meshes and their stuff comes out really good in the end. And I'm kind of wondering, like, I mean, they're really good at anatomy, obviously, but I'm wondering if, like, how would it be for them to actually create a base mesh after relying so much on it? That would be interesting. Yeah, there is a way of, like, relying too much on a base mesh, because then all of a sudden you're like, okay, well, how does this form happen? I would say, if you're in a professional setting, then using a base mesh is completely fine. Usually it'll be provided to you, but in terms of, like, in your everyday life, if you want to practice and you yourself want to get better, I would say go ahead and, get better, study, learn, because the more independent you are, the more of a skill you acquire, the more worth you have, Like, people who play guitar. I fucking suck at guitar. But if I want somebody to make a song with a guitar in it, I would hire somebody who knows how to, play a badass guitar. Yeah, you can go to those programs that are like AI and stuff, but that's not easy to get, like, a custom. What am I trying to say? Custom, like, song. You're like relying on a software that's gonna, like, mess it up most of the time. Speaking of which, what's the deal with AI these days? But yeah. Like, that's my 2 cents on, base meshes. I feel like if you want to use it in a professional setting, then go ahead and use it. Just makes it faster and easier, especially if it's a humanoid. Of course, most base meshes are humanoid, but if you're using it for learning purposes or trying to improve your own artwork, I would say, like, don't do that, because you're not gonna develop any skills. That somebody else who's really good at that would get paid for. So, like, if I constantly relied on somebody else's base meshes, I do buy base meshes, by the way. Don't get me wrong, I buy base meshes, but one, I'm supporting the artist because I love their work, or two, it's because I'm learning from it. I'm like, how did they achieve that? What angle did they use for that? And then I apply that to my own stuff. you know. Especially like these 3D scans. I've been buying 3D scan base meshes because I want to see how the anatomy is. So I guess that's a double-edged sword question, because you would be relying on a base mesh to learn as well as relying on it for your professional work. Moving to YouTube? I don't know. I've always been on YouTube. It's just I've never actually went live. Well, I think I went live like once. No, I didn't go live. Yeah, this is my first time going live. So I was just trying to test the waters and see how it is. See if YouTube just completely kicks me off. The audience on YouTube seems to be growing more and more, and Twitch, like, it's mostly for video games, I've noticed. Like, it's just, when you go on Twitch, people aren't really searching for artwork on Twitch, you know? I mean, there is an artwork category, but people aren't looking for that kind of stuff, you know? They're looking for what's Asmongold's, like, funniest video today, you know? And I can't compete with that. Asmongold is a freaking beast when it comes to hilarity in video game playing, and I just can't compete with that, you know? I'm in a class of my own. So I got to move to a different platform of live streaming where people are like, dang, dude, how do I create a nice butt today? Oh, here's a video. Here's a guy that seems like he has nothing better to do. This guy's just like me. He has nothing better to do. So he's going to create a butt. And I'm going to create a butt. And we're both going to learn how to create butts. No ifs, ands, or tails about it. I think that's how it goes. Character artist is a spectrum, right? From technical character anatomy and topology to hand painting character artist textures. I'm not that great with texturing and is also learning from anatomy. I would say that's a very literal technical question, because I've been paid just to do high polys. I've never... Oh, I can't say I've never, but there are points where I've not been paid to take it to completion. They just needed like a high poly, and then they do the rest. Even sometimes when I get paid like in freelance, I'm like, I'm not that great at textures, you know, or I'll say like, oh, well, you know, I'm not that great at topology. We're going to need to work on that. You know, you're going to need to talk to me about that and what you need. But in terms of like needing to do everything, I mean, you can be a high poly artist and still get paid to do it. There are people that get paid to do high poly artwork. There's 3D prints that, you know, you can get paid for to do like characters for 3D prints, poses and stuff like that. So I'd say, yeah, being a character artist kind of is like being on a spectrum, but you don't have to do all of it. But I think that at least you would need to do like, you would need to know topology and anatomy. I mean, those are important for posing and you know, then correcting the anatomy in that pose. So textures, I mean, the bare minimum that I would say that you would need to learn is probably poly painting if you wanted to be like a high poly artist and you needed to learn how to like texture a character or whatever, or for, you know, finalization and renders, because you can take a high poly into like a rendering software and then you can just render it out, and then people are like, oh shit, you know. 50% just chatting and watching YouTube videos. Yeah, I know. I was thinking like changing my career to like maybe doing something along the lines of like licking ears, because that seems to be like a growing profession. But then I'm like, first off, I don't have anything to lick, and second off, I don't have anything to lick. No, I don't know, man. It's just like, it's not my thing. I can't sit there and go with like my fucking mouth for like 30 minutes. I would need like 10 gallons of lip balm and for no one to come into the room and look at me weird for like 40 minutes. Especially like, how do you explain to people what's your job occupation? Or what were you doing before this? Well, you see, and then they were like, do you have references? I mean, because, like, what happens if there's a fallout with that, you know? Like, what happens if, like, that's no longer a good sustaining thing? Then what are you going to do? You're going to have to go in and apply for a job and tell the person what you did before you got that job. Yeah, the left ear and the right ear. Oh, man. I don't think I lack the quality to sit there for 40 minutes and lick something. Nor the attention span. The whole time, I would be like thinking about, I wonder what the new episode of Star Trek Picard is. You know? And then my licks would be all off. People would be like, whoa, I didn't like that. What was that all about? I don't know. What did I do? I was too busy thinking about Picard while licking. That's definitely something I didn't think I would say in the same sentence. I was thinking about Picard while licking this ear. The algorithm in YouTube favors meme artists like those sped up and what if videos. Yeah. Because people favor speed over the knowledge, and I think that's one of the reasons why I stopped like uploading videos for a while. Because like it went from like wanting to learn why and what to just I already know, get me through this video already, and I don't really know how to share information that quickly. Hey guys, today we're going to learn how about that anatomy, and then you're going to learn about the uvula, and we're going to... All right, you're done. Bye. Okay. Let's try to put the arms in there. Whoa, they're so flat. Why are they so flat? Tube snap, yeah. Why is it so flat? Oh, it's because of the intensity. How did the intensity go down? That's weird. Okay. So those are really long arms. I don't know. Maybe we like long arms. Oops. Just click on anywhere on the model to undo that. And I'm really liking the shape of that already. Like that's a really nice shape. I'm actually going to separate these off because arms tend to get merged right around here when they start getting too close to the body. So I'm just going to take that off real quick. By the way, Tape Moose, how's your artwork going? Or did you stop artwork and start becoming a full-time ear-licking streamer? I'm so proud of you. Okay, let's bring this up. This is a really long forearm. I mean, in my mind, I was thinking that this wasn't the forearm bit, but looking at it from the side, it's like, this is all straight. So it's like, this is part of the forearm. Okay. You speed it up 5 times and sell 1 time speed for money. Okay, yeah. Make it super confusing. Hey, if you really want the full version of this with a non-confusing speed version, that's over on my Patreon. Several $1,000s, please. But I'm like somebody who is constantly saying that I don't value money because money turns people greedy, and greed tends to make people scared because they don't think that they're going to get any more money, or they think they're going to run out, and that's not a really good way to live. So I try not to value it. Of course, like when people need it, it's not, you know, it's not obviously a greedy thing to need money, you know, because obviously we need money to survive. But greed to me is like when people go, oh, well, you can follow me over here, do this, do that. And then they like completely sell out and then they fucking make like hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever. I mean, I know people on fucking YouTube don't make that much, but like I'm talking about like, you know what I mean? Like people who are like struggling and then they go, oh yeah, I'm going to make a movie in a shitty movie that basically has no message, has no good anything about it, for like a lot of money because I'm popular. And it's just like, fuck, dude. You don't really know what's real anymore, you know? Like the age-old question, how do we know what is the Matrix? Well, we don't fucking know. I'm still doing pixel art. I tried out sculpting in Blender. It was pretty fun. Ooh, nice. I feel like this is the highlight of my week, talking about sculpting in Blender. Yeah. Yeah, I tried sculpting in Blender as well. It was confusing. I like it. It's just, it was very weird to get my muscle memory to a comfortable point where I can, you know, sculpt without yelling at my monitor. But I like it. It's very nice to not have to go back and forth between programs, you know, to be able to stay in one program the entire time. Okay, I feel like this body is just really weird. Like disproportionate, so let's bring this down. Okay, so something like that. And then, oh, I hate when I do that. Let's widen up this, but I want to widen up the hip area a little bit more as well. Okay. For anatomy, there's a workflow of making muscles into individual pieces, and there's a workflow for pulling out and building up form, more difficult for me to do. Yeah, I have, honestly, my entire anatomy journey, I've never done that. I've never actually wanted to go in there and build every single, like, muscle. Even in the anatomy book for artists, or for sculptors, the anatomy for sculptors book, they say that you don't really need to do all of this stuff in this book. You know, all they say is like you just need to learn where the landmarks are, where the main landmarks are, because all of this stuff is going to be covered by skin and fat, and it would take you a long time to learn that. And kudos to anybody that does do that, but I just learn where the anatomy is, the main landmarks, and then looking up references, like basically like what does the iliac crest look like in this position, or what is the acromion process look like in this position, and then I kind of just like, you know, go from there. Like, why does it look like that? But in terms of like doing every single muscle, like, ugh, God. That would take me ages. Literal ages to do that. And I don't have that much time. On Earth. I don't have that much time on Earth. If I adopt the turtle diet, then I can probably do it. But that's a big stretch, though. And I don't know if I want to adopt the turtle diet. Because I love me some cheese. I feel like these shoulders could be just out a little bit more. I don't really like to increase the shoulder length, especially when I go for like anime characters, but let's try to increase this because it does look a little bit off, and then we'll just kind of bring these out like that. Much better. Definitely better. It sounds tedious. Yeah, there are people out there that actually have done it. You know, I don't know how much of your life you need to give up to learn that, but like I said, it is a skill to learn that kind of stuff, because there are like studios and things like that that hire for that kind of stuff. And when you're better than somebody else at it, or when you can get it done faster than somebody else, that is a literal skill that somebody is willing to pay for. And they're going to pay you for it because you're the best. I mean, look at Gordon Ramsay. You know? I mean, I'm not saying that he's the best. I'm just saying he's got the skill to make really good dishes. And he gets paid lots of money to cook for other people. That's what I try to tell my family, you know? I try to tell them, hey, develop a skill. Get really good at one thing. I'm still trying to get good at, one thing, but get good at one thing, and people will pay you good money for it. I think, like, right around here should be... There we go. And these pectorals, I'm just kind of marking where these landmarks are going to go, because then there's going to be a little bit of a space right here where the obliques are going to come in. And stuff like that. Or am I telling all of this to you to sabotage you so that I get paid? This is actually going to come all the way down like here. So, and then it's going to kind of come up. So that means that the hip bone-ish should come like right through here. Right through here. And then the lacracho region, mondus pubis. So you're going to have kind of like a little dip right here where the belly, and then the mondus pubis, and then you're going to have your pelvic bone. You're going to have 2 tendons, I believe, running through here. And that's going to cause like this little kind of indention right here. So like that. I think it's a little bit thinner than that. I wanted to learn how to sculpt properly, but I think I lost the taste for 3D. You just have to find out what you want to do. I think, like I understand losing the taste for something. I don't like to do 2D anymore. I lost the taste for that. But I gained the patience to do 3D because I figured out what I wanted to do. Even if I don't get paid for it, even if I never make any money off of it, I would love to get paid to just make characters like this, I love making characters like this, where they're beautiful, they're kind of like, they have a story, they're strong, So I love making characters like this, and I would love to get paid. So that's what keeps me motivated to constantly doing this. When I started out, I absolutely loved making like cybernetic females. Like I would love to like make like part cyborg, part like sexy females. Will this character be available to purchase? It all depends on how good it is. I don't normally like to put stuff on the store unless it's like, it's okay. Half the stuff that I have on there now, like right now, I don't really like it. But I mean, if people want to buy it, then why not, If you want to have it for whatever, you want to use it for whatever, then... Oh my god, that sounded like I was like condescending when I coughed. No, I literally got something stuck in my throat in that exact moment. You like my stylized character models? Thank you. I like your pixel art. Your pixel art is fantastic. I really wish that I could do like 2D stuff like I used to. I really like doing that, but I can't find the patience to do the lighting and the shading anymore when all of this stuff is done for me in 3D. That was one of the most tedious things I hated doing, was like, once you come up with the character and you design the character, now you have to light and shade the character, and I'm like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to shade it. Ah. I still do first-person animations, and I can say that in this recent years, I got very good at it. But I just lost the fun of doing my own 3D models and stuff. Yeah, I think one of the main reasons why I've been kind of not having a lot of motivation is because a lot of the stuff is being done for you now. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like, a lot of people love it when a lot of the stuff, like I literally just said I wish that, I could do the shading, but I lost the taste for that. And now they're coming up with like tools to like auto do shading and fill and stuff like that. But I think one of the main things is that a lot of this stuff is being done for you now, and it's really hard to distinguish between the talent of yourself and the talent that you automated or generated. Are links allowed? It's as long as it doesn't go against YouTube's terms of service, which is probably like a long Bible. Yeah, dude, definitely. Go ahead and post it. My college wants to be generalist. Kind of sucks that I'm not honed into purely being a character artist. Yeah, that's the problem. Like, a lot of studios want a generalist who can do everything, and basically you're getting paid. You're getting, like, I would say, like, you're getting paid the same amount as a character artist that you would be for like doing 3 or 4 different jobs. Like, if you're doing, like, because I actually was in this situation and it kind of upset me. Like, I was hired to do texture work, and then they started like putting me on to 3D models, and then they started doing they started making me do like toys and stuff like that. I was kind of generally upset, but I'm glad that they were paying me well. It's just I could have, like, like, I was literally put on there to do one thing, and then it kind of changed over time. And I get the fluidity of the environment, but it's kind of like, it sucks if you're doing all of that stuff. As long as you're not doing it all at once, then I mean, that's good. But not everybody was applying to be that. You can't, like, one thing that I don't like about the studios, like, when they do that, is when they try to make it sound like that's a promotion. When you're being like paid to do texture artwork, and then they go, oh yeah, we're promoting you, but then the pay doesn't change, but they're like kind of making it sound like it's like a promotion, but it's not, the way they word it. So that kind of sucks. But as long as you're not doing it all at the same time. But usually, like, studios, like the ones that I've worked in so far, like, they were pretty nice about like helping you to learn it and trying to give feedback in a way that'll help you. Shading and lighting is pretty hard. I make up a lot of it, and it makes no sense most of the time, so I understand. Yeah, well, see, that's the funny thing is, like, you sit there and you say you make up a lot of it, but then it ends up looking good in the end, and people go like, oh yeah, well, there's no such thing as talent. It's skill, because people aren't born talented. Well, some people kind of are, because they have an understanding, and when they're born with that kind of understanding, where even if it's not totally 100% correct, it still kind of looks like it's accurate. So therefore they kind of like have that natural keen eye to see something and kind of absorb that knowledge and absorb that understanding of how it works, and then apply that to their artwork. Even if they don't do it right away, they're still progressively doing it as they're doing their artwork and learning without actually learning, or understanding it without actually learning it. So, I mean, in a sense, there are people out there that are actually born talented. More work, same pay. Yeah. It's never a promotion if they don't increase the payment. Yeah. They just make it sound like it. Like, hey, you want to be put on this? You know, like you'll be working in a new environment and, you know, we're trusting you with this. And it's like, it's kind of making it sound like, you know, holy crap, dude, I'm going to get more responsibilities and stuff like that. And they're going to trust me with stuff. And then all of a sudden it's just like, it's the same thing. Yeah. I'm trying to build out these legs. I want to emphasize her hip region to be more anime-like, more persona, you know, like all of the persona is like definitely in the hips, where the hips are kind of bigger, they're more kind of sexy, and then they kind of like go smaller into the feet, which are not as big, but they're still like not too small to where it's like, oh, that doesn't look like a human foot at all. So there's that. It's going to be a challenge because I've never actually tried to do this before, but I'm going to try it again. I mean, try it again from today, from when I did it, or try to do it. Eventually. Okay. So obviously you have a lot of muscles that are going to crease along here. You have your sternum, that's actually going to be kind of prevalent right around here. You have some muscles that are going to kind of make this landmark all the way down. And you're going to have your pectorals that are going to go down pretty far. But I'm going to actually kind of give them up a little bit. And I also want to bring down her delts a lot more. Her delts are not going to be the main focus, but I do want to make sure that I'm kind of being a little bit more accurate. More work, same pay. Yep. More work, same pay. That's always good, right? It's a good of a that's a strong indication of a great capitalist society, is when people are getting paid less for more, right? And when I do say when I do say less, I do mean like less, because you are doing more work and you're not getting paid an increase. So therefore, you're literally getting paid less. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, I'm not a political person. Like I said before, you know, multiple times on my stream, I don't like both sides. Both sides are crazy. They're insane. But what can you do? What do you call it when you're for both sides but against both sides? Isn't that like a libertarian or whatever? I don't know. It's like being in a room full of people shouting at each other, and you're like, why are we shouting and not making anything better? Like, we should be trying to do something to make the world a better place, but you can't speak over people who are literally shouting at the top of their lungs, because they won't hear you. You just have to wait for them to be done shouting at each other. Okay. Okay. You're going to have like an indention right here. Depending on how built you are, you might have like a little bit of an indention right here in the delt. And then that's going to come down into the pectoral. So the deltoid is literally this muscle mass right here. And I'm just going to kind of slightly feed that. And then you have these two scapula muscles right here that are going to go in. And underneath that, you're going to have your lats. I believe they're your lats into your obliques. Okay. I'm not trying to make her too muscular. That's just the way stuff comes out when you're like in what do you call it? Emphasizing the anatomy. So yeah, I'm liking the small ribs versus the large waist. That's a really good shape that I like. Okay. Okay, I don't want to work on the forearms just yet, but I do want to kind of get that topology in there. I always forget which way this faces, so I do believe that it goes this way. And then, of course, you have this little indention right here for your tendons. So we're just going to kind of make like a little kind of cut right there. Now, for the elbow, she's not going to be too thin for her arms. So I'm just going to kind of cut in like a part where her elbow kind of goes over. So it's going to be like this. And this is going to be like kind of like the meat over overlapping the bottom arm. And then I'm just going to kind of bring this out a little bit. Okay. And then maybe we can also cut a little indention right here. These are things that I love like about working with like low resolution, because you can kind of see this kind of stuff like how you would on a piece of paper when you're doing 2D. You see this kind of stuff in the geometry, and you just kind of emphasize off of it. Let's see. For a job and applying, do you apply what is available, or do you look for a company that specializes in what you want to do? I find character jobs tend to be more rare because characters are higher investment. I can't particularly say because every single job that I've gotten is either through recommendation or it's been through people contacting me to have me work for them. But I will say that if you are looking for a job, your best thing to do is to build your portfolio. People look at your portfolio, they see what you can do, and that makes people want to hire you more. As opposed to applying for a job and not having a portfolio, then they're pretty much like you're farting in the wind and hoping something will, hoping that it won't blow up in your face. So you really have to be careful. And also with people contacting you, you have to be careful of those people because there's a lot of scammers out there that'll say, hey, we're looking for a job. So when you do get an email, do not click on any links and research who's sending you the email. Don't click on any links. Just type in their name, their studio name in Google. Don't go to their website. Don't do any of that shit. Just research about them. Don't go to their website. Don't click on any of their links. Just research before you do anything. If you're really worried about a scam, maybe if you're in an artist community, maybe like bring it to someone's attention and say, hey, is this legit? But be careful of those because those are really scummy. They can take your information and things, and it's no bueno. So yeah, like all of the stuff that people have reached out to me on my ArtStation mostly for jobs, and through my email, but I never reply to my email when it comes to job applications because your email can be given to anyone. I mean, people can look you up on ArtStation, but people send mass emails, and that's how they get those scams out a lot faster, as opposed to looking for random people on ArtStation. I don't join NFT projects that much. I have joined a couple, but I don't know. I don't really enjoy doing it, but it is money. So what can you do? You get paid to do it. But I don't join them because a lot of them are scams. Like a lot of them are like, oh yeah, we'll pay you to make an NFT after we make money on it. And it's like, no, I don't want to do that. So you got to be careful on that shit too. But yeah, like a lot of it has been through recommendations and contacting me. Like and me getting to know them and talking to them on Skype and listening to the proposals. And it's almost like I'm interviewing them, to make sure that it's not a scam. But yeah, I would say definitely build up your portfolio. Hey, what's up, Cowie? How you doing? Yeah, I haven't seen you for a long time. How you been? No Twitch active, only YouTube. I don't know about streaming on Twitch. I really don't. I don't know if I really want to for a while. Until they get their stuff ironed out. I don't want to punish the people for supporting me on Twitch. I'm not motivated to stream on Twitch. But yeah, the biggest thing is like building up your portfolio, and then, when you're good at something, people will contact you. But of course there are instances where you need to apply to a studio. But it's really fucking hard to get a job when you're applying for a studio, because there's so many talented people out there. There's so many people out there that are fucking talented, and it's really difficult. And that's probably another thing that like demotivates a lot of people from doing artwork, is just how like there's so many artists out there already, like that already are like pretty much like the top paid guys. Like, oh yeah, you're pretty good at realism, but you know who just applied to this position? Hossein Diba. Yeah, good luck with that one, bro. Oh shit, just lost that interview. You know what I mean? That's why I'm trying to do something that not a lot of people are doing at the moment. Like, I'm trying to do like the Korean style models. So like not a lot of people are doing that at the moment. I know a lot of like the Asian cultures are doing that, as right now, but I'm trying to get into that market and get good at it, so indie artists will pay me, because I'm not really looking for a job in like studios that are like big name studios. I really want to get my name in the indie community, because I feel like the indie community is right for me. I feel like they're nice. They're not going to try to take advantage of you. You don't have to worry about what's the next Blizzard outrage going on today, kind of bullshit. And yeah, overall, I just like the indie community. It's for me. So I want to do models for them. So that's where I'm at right now. Yeah, I made these a little bit too low, so these need to be up higher. Particle effects artists are pretty rare if you want less competition. Oh, really? I did not know that. That's actually a good little piece of information. Now, everybody go and study particle effects. You know what really chapped my ass is I was like, man, I'm going to get so good at grooming hair. I'm going to be the greatest groomer of all time. I even started practicing. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to be so good at this. People are going to want to pay me. And then they were like, no, dude. We're just using simulated hair now. We're going into Unreal Engine 5 territory. And yeah, eventually we're just not going to need that. I mean, I'm just being over dramatic. Of course they're going to still need people to groom, but then I'm like, damn, dude. If they're going into Unreal Engine 5 territory with the grooming and they don't really need like polygonal hair, then there's really no point to learning how to do polygonal hair really well unless you're doing like mobile games in the future, right? I don't know. Like, watch, like, freaking, eventually, like, Horizon Zero Dawn is going to be able to be played on, like, an iMac Air 26. Still have your Discord? Oh, cool, man. Fire explosions, whatnot. Yeah. Send you some screenshots about an anime head. Have you done anything with them? Anime head? Send me some screenshots, you mean on Discord? Let me see. I didn't get any messages on Discord. Ew, physics hair. Ew! Gross. We don't like physics hair around here. Get out of here, physics hair. Nobody likes you. How dare you? Yeah, I have a long way to go before I kind of perfect like this this body type, you know. I'm not saying that I'm like good or anything like that. I got a long way to go. Oh, here we go. Okay. Have I done anything like the physics hair? Or excuse me, have I done anything with the anime heads? I have not done anything with those anime heads. Are you talking about like yeah, are they like on a file or something like that? No, I haven't done anything with those. I've been producing my own stuff. Because again, like it goes back to that whole like I want to be independent, so I'm trying to rely less on base meshes and more on my own skill, so that I have a skill that people wanna pay for. Okay, so I'm thinking that this is too low and then this is too high, so this needs to come down a little bit more. So the plane should be like this, right? It should be like this for the delts. It should be slightly kind of curved, like for the deltoids and for the shoulder. So they should be kind of in harmonious sync. So kind of like this for the plane. So I gotta remember that because that's important. Sometimes like when you're in the groove and you're not like paying attention, it's really easy to lose that focus. So we're gonna kind of build up the shoulder area to kind of compensate for that, you know, that plane existence. Your Discord is friends only? Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Like I do get random messages on Discord from random people. Horizon Zero got peach fuzz on their hair. Yeah, like I was like, wow, what? Why? Yeah, it's like a little kind of weird, you know, because like it's like, how often are you going to be that close to the character, you know? Unless you're a character artist, you're not really appreciating that as a gamer. You're just like, hell yeah, kill that thing, go over here, run over here, dodge, yeah, jump, you know, annihilate, and then like they don't really see that. Then like at the end of the game, they're like, oh shit, that girl got peach fuzz, you know, or like even in a cutscene, they're like, oh my god. But like, as a gamer, do you really ever see that? Unless it's like a cutscene that's like really close in. But as a character artist, you're like, oh dude, how'd they do that? Oh my god, oh look at that, oh crap, dude, I gotta try that. Even as an environmental artist, you're like, oh shit, I gotta try that. Was that waterfall with? How did they do those particles? Oh my god, is that done through the UVs? I gotta try that. sent those some time ago. Oh, I haven't. I honestly, I don't even remember. How long ago did you send those? You can use those files to learn from them some stuff. Learning is never a crime, you know? Yeah, that's true. So is that what you've been practicing, Cowie? You've been practicing more anime style? Okay. Get in here. Let's kind of build this little area up. Because, I don't know, like her butt is a little bit too high up, so I need to kind of bring that down a little bit more. There we go. There we go. Okay. And then we need to do the... So the dimples are going to be like right around here, I think. And then a little bit of a crack. And I'm just going to tap on that. Like tap, 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 tap. Put some holes right there just to kind of mark that. And where can I find your published Discord link? I don't have a Discord anymore for like a public Discord, like where people join it. I don't know. It's just like it was never being used, and it was just kind of like there was really no point to it. So I just kind of deleted it. Honestly, I don't think that anybody I don't think anybody even knew it was deleted. So it's like, eh. It's all a part of my elaborate scheme to just be less online. Okay, let's make the crack. So I normally don't do the butt crack all the way out here. I kind of like stop halfway through the thigh. And to me that just looks better. It looks like it's kind of like more petite and anime. So I kind of just go with that. And I try not to inflate the butt anymore because there is kind of like with petite characters, there is a separation in the butt crack with petite people. So there is like a little bit of a separation. Okay, but we are going to try to build out this right here, our jaw. Oh, my public, yeah, I can give it to you. Let's see. Just please don't send spam or anything like that. Let's see. What is it? Wait, copied. This? Yeah, there it is. Boom, right there. There you go. Hey, big fan? Well, thank you. Or are you saying I'm going to give you a big fan? Because we really need one. Summer is coming up. That was a little bit of a corny joke. Okay, so for the belly button, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to kind of like push this up. Easy belly button, guys. If you're ever having like a problem with belly buttons and you're like, how do I sculpt it? Boom. That's how you sculpt it. Boom. Right there. I think it's a little bit too low, though. I think I might have actually made it a little bit too low. So let me just kind of bring it up just a little bit. And then if you want, I think that some women, they actually have like a lot of like pooch on their belly button area. So then it ends up becoming like a little bit longer. So you can kind of like thin it out a little bit. But I kind of like having it just a little bit more circular. There we go. Petite is a sus word? What do you mean? Petite? Like skinny? Skinny petite? Let's try that. No, that's horrible. Okay. All right, I'm trying to think if I want to actually do the hands now or if I want to start on the feet. And honestly, I think I will just start on the feet. For me, they're a little bit easier. So let's just, yeah, let's bring this down. I'm not connecting the feet because with this you can then choose to rotate the feet up or down for like if you want high heels or whatever. So I usually keep these separate until I'm done. Okay. And there's her feet. Boom. Done. Just kidding. Oh yeah, perfect feet. Let's drop this down a little bit lower so it's easier to work with. Okay. Let's bring these up high. Because the ankle is going to go in like a chain link. It's going to go here. These are going to go up. Up. Okay. I really wish that ZBrush had a smaller window to use. That would be nice. Like if it, like how you know in like Photoshop they have a small like little navigator window. I wish that ZBrush had the same thing so that you'd be able to see like what your model is going to look like from a distance. That way I know that I'm not making the feet too small or whatever. Okay. So the big toe is obviously going to be the thickest, so it's going to be like more out. And then this is just going to kind of gradually get smaller as it reaches the little toe. And I want this to be more straighter. Okay. Dude, I made her feet backwards. Oops. Oh no. All right. Can we bring, okay, good. My bad. And they're a little bit too small, so let's make them a little bit bigger. Let's see how big they are now. Let's see. How's that looking for the silhouette? I think honestly the posture is a little bit weird. Like obviously these are going to be a little bit weird. And the way these are moving in, let's try to just kind of point them. I think the silhouette should be a little bit more pointy. I think ZBrush has split screen. Yeah, it has split screen mode, but it kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit intensive, whereas I just kind of want like a simple little window to, you know, see. It doesn't need to be like the same resolution, But I don't know. I think maybe you can change those settings in split screen. I don't know. I've never tried. I just got afraid to use it because it's like, you know, basically duplicating the window and becoming more intensive. Okay. Okay. I'm kind of like fanning these towards the feet so they just look like they're like this part of the same body part. And we can kind of move this in a little bit right here, just ever so slightly, those like tiny little adjustments. And then we can fix the silhouette. Okay. So these are like the basic blobby forms of the foot. And then just keep on refining it and refining it and refining it. Boop, boop, boop. Kind of just looking at it from the front and just kind of like, do I like this? Do I like the way this looks? No, so change it, you know? Okay. And then if we wanted to, we can sit here and we can like change this to be like, you know, more of a high heel kind of look, but I don't know. It's depending on what you want to do with it. Okay. So looking at it in anti-aliasing mode, of course, like a lot of the muscle structure is a little bit over-muscled. Then you'd like go through and you'd be like, well, do I like the length of the ribs? Maybe I can like shorten the rib cage and kind of bring up the hips a little bit more. Maybe I can bring out the pectorals a little bit more. And you can also shorten up the shoulders. Like you can make them more narrow and bring out the ribs a little bit more. But we'll see how that looks. I honestly like the way that looks a little bit better. We'll make it work. Transform menu up top in the split screen. Yeah, I know about that. I know about the split screen and the... Where are you? There you are. I know all about this. It's just... it's really weird to work with, and it's... I don't know, it's just... For me, it's really weird to work with. And I believe there's also a way to stop the split screen from being a different window and doing it as a duplicate. Or actually... No... There's another window. There is another window. I know that there's another window in here somewhere. or you can duplicate the top window. I think it might be in the preferences. Interface. Yeah, there it is, the alternate dock view. And then you can do this. And I think you can also switch where the alternate dock view sits. Yeah, but I don't remember that. But yeah, I know all about the split screen. It's just it's a little bit too intensive. Well, for me that is. It may not be as intensive for other people. You memorize the muscle forms? I try to. I try to practice every day and try to remember what they look like and how they are. I'm not perfect by any means. There's probably a lot of like errors that I've done with this, but genuinely, like, I'm trying every single day to try to get it more accurate as I go on. Okay, so now let's try the breasts, the breasticles. So you go here. And I also stopped using the Dynamesh feature when it comes to bullying all of this stuff together, booleaning all of this. And the reason is because it destroys your details, and it also just is kind of wonky sometimes for low res. So what I end up doing is I'll show you a little trick that I usually do. So once I'm done with all this stuff and I want to put it together, I don't use Dynamesh. I use this feature. So let's just hide this right here. I use this feature. We go to merge visible so that we merge all of them together. So now it's all one subtool. And then you go to your cogwheel and you use the feature remesh by union. And what that's going to do is it's going to boolean it all together without dynameshing it. And then what you can do is you can go into your Sculptors Pro and you can then get rid of all these like intersections that you might have. So you can just kind of smoothen those out. Of course, we're so low resolution that you don't really even notice them. But then you can actually go in here and just kind of go in here with the Sculptors Pro anyways, and you can kind of just like, you know, up the resolution of this and start sculpting on this as a, you know, general piece. And you don't have to worry about like all those, you know, intersections. So like these intersections right here, you can just kind of like use Sculptors Pro to kind of just get rid of them. And then you can just like sculpt on it and refine it. But yeah, that's what I do. I don't do the dynameshing that all together because it does destroy a lot of your stuff when you do that, and it like repurposes the topology, and I don't want that. Okay. So back to the breasticles. For these, I'm actually going to kind of move these out a little bit and then rotate the main point out a little and move this out a little bit, drop it down right here. Okay. And then I'm going to kind of move it up towards the pec. Like that. And like with the last stuff, I'm just going to go in here and, where are you? Dynamesh. There we go. I feel like that's a little bit too low. There we go. Or a little bit too high. All right. And we're just going to kind of try to blend this in with the pec while keeping this part round as much as we can. One thing I also like to do is I like to kind of grab this area right here and needs to be just a little bit lower. It's really hard to do this intersection part right here because if you look at a breast, it's like sitting on top of the chest and it's kind of like flopping around on the chest, because if you pull out a breast straight, it's like a tube, you know, in like a tubular fashion. But once gravity hits, it falls down and it kind of creates like this teardrop motion, but it's also laying on top of the rib cage. So you need to get that kind of laying down look, and it's really hard to do that. So sometimes what I like to do is I try to do the dynamics. And yeah, we'll turn on gravity, we'll turn on collision, and we'll drop that down as low as we can. And then you can try to run the simulation to push the breast outwards. Holy God. Maybe turn down the gravity a lot more, and then firmness a lot more up, and self-collision. There we go. So this kind of like motion right here is what you're trying to get, like this kind of like collision right here. Obviously it's a little bit too much. The collision is a little bit too high, which is weird because it's super, super high. And try to rest that. And maybe we can try to inflate it. See, maybe actually let's try to inflate it with collision, without gravity. I was just looking over your series of appealing stylized characters and then see this live stream. Perfect timing for continuing with the stylized body. Thank you for sharing your sculpting techniques. Oh, no problem. Okay, let's see how well that did. That did not do well at all. Okay. For some reason, it keeps on pushing it away, but maybe we can do something like that. Maybe we can actually use this into our favor. Okay. So essentially, all we wanted to do from that is just create this kind of like indentation of what it's laying on top of, you know, because it's just easier to sculpt it that way. You're not going to get it like fully 100% the way you want it, but it does help with kind of like that kind of curl that you get with the breast. We can kind of push it up this way. I don't know. Using dynamics is definitely something that I like to do in this, but it is like, you know, it's hard to get it to look right. And you just kind of push this back in, blend, shape that back up. Pull this back. So with this being as far away from the body as it is, we probably are going to need to adjust the pectorals a little bit more. Okay. Okay. Control Shift D, Alt M, and see where that lies. I think it's a little bit too high. Maybe it could be down a little bit further. So let's delete that. And let's bring this back down a little bit more. Okay. All right. Not too bad, not too bad, not too bad. Let's get that fixed. Yeah, not too bad. Once we combine everything, we can definitely fix a lot of that. Okay. Control-Shift-D, Alt-M. Alt-M is the general key for me. I use Alt-M. All right, they're just a little bit too separated, but in terms of like shape and form, I think they're pretty okay. So let's merge that down. Okay, and then let's try to bring them just a little bit closer together. And try to make them look like they're sinking down a little bit more. Okay. Let's push this in a little bit more. Okay. So like I was saying, you can use, well, I don't know about this rib cage right here. This is really weird looking. Let me just bring this out just a little bit more because I feel like that was a little bit too sunken in. Okay. Now let's push this back a little bit. This area shouldn't be overly blown out with, you know, a lot of silhouette. There should be silhouette there, but it shouldn't be like really overblown. You know, you kind of want the person to have good posture and actually look like they're a humanoid, right? If that's what you're going for. But if it's like really sunken in right here, like right here, it's gonna look weird. So maybe you want to kind of bring out these like abdomen area and the obliques. The obliques need to look like they're healthy. Okay. And I still feel like the breasts are sitting a little bit weird. And it's funny because I was literally just about to combine these, but I'm glad that I took a second look at that because that was going to be really weird looking. All right. So let me actually kind of. So here's something. If something isn't going well, just kind of mask off one and work on the other one, and then do a mirror and weld on that. So it's kind of hard to get around that. So there we go. Actually drag this straight back like that. And let me bring out these pectorals a little bit more. Okay. Yeah, cool. Let's bring these out just a little bit. Drop down the deltoid a little bit. We can always fix that if it looks weird, but I'm just trying to kind of focus on the planes. That. Cool. All right. Still feel like the feet can maybe do some more work, but we'll get to that. Yeah. I can do some testing right now. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my T-pose. And just set that up to white. And I kind of want to do some posture tests just to see what looks good. So I'm going to use the transpose, and we're just going to kind of hold Alt and see if it looks better with like her feet kind of more curved in. So holding Alt, it's going to adjust it. And I feel like her feet do look better, like more curved in. And this is really good for like fixing like anatomy issues altogether. And then once you're done, you can T-pose it back. So yeah, her feet do look a lot better more curved together, so like more like this from the side or from the front, and then from the side we're going to kind of bring it up more here. She is going to be wearing high heels, so I'm going to kind of emphasize these calf muscles to be a little bit higher and raised. And that way when I do change her feet position, then I don't really have to adjust too much about her calf anatomy. But we'll worry about that later on. Okay. I feel like her arms are also a little bit too short. So let's just lengthen her arms up a little bit more. Something like that. I think that's good. And then we can go back to there. No time at all. Boom. All right. The last thing that I would want to do is probably like increase her rib size, just maybe slightly a little bit more around this area, just so that like it kind of goes up in a nice, you know, hourglass figure. And there we go. So that's her body so far. Oh, message restricted and retracted. What's going on? What course or book would you recommend to learn female anatomy? I would learn, like I've been telling people before, I've actually been taking Yahoo workshops. So the workshops that you find, I do have a review on my channel of the website, the Yahoo website or the Wingfox website. Really good website for finding courses from all kinds of artists. So definitely check this out because this is a really good website for learning. You can learn anatomy. You can learn how to bring a character from start to finish. It has all kinds of courses on here. So it's not just like one course or one type of thing. You know, they have a lot of stuff on here, and they're from different artists all over the world, and they're really good artists. Specifically, the one that I took was the one that was gifted to me. So this Anna course was gifted to me by Wingfox for the sponsorship. But I took this course, and I absolutely love this course. This is a really good course. The only thing that is not provided is the base mesh, so you kind of have to learn how to do, you know, anatomy and stuff like that. But there are so many courses on here that are really good, and you can get them for super cheap. This is another course that I was taking as well. Really good course, goes through anatomy and stuff like that. Just find out what's right for you. They're really cheap as well, so instead of like taking like a really expensive course, you can take one of these courses that are super cheap. Like I think the cheapest one that I bought was like $60, and it was pretty good. So yeah, definitely look on there. And there's also like these early bird, like they have these like early bird kind of like Indiegogo, like when a new artist comes on here, when a new course teacher comes on here, they'll have like this Indiegogo campaign where you can actually buy the course for really cheap. But as long as the campaign is going on, it gets more and more expensive. So the longer you wait, the more you have to pay. So if you get like an early bird, you can pay like up to $25 for a course at the very start of it if you're interested in it. And then at the end, like most people who wait on it, they'll end up paying like $99 or $79. So you can get a lot of deals like that, and also using these promotional codes to get extra percentages off your sales, so saving a lot of money. But yeah, also Anatomy for Artists, the book Anatomy for Artists, really good book. It also teaches you like you don't have to worry about like all of the muscle structure and the muscle anatomy. All you really have to worry about is the overall outer landmarks and how they're applied. So even in their own book, they're like, you don't really have to read this entire book if you don't want to. You just like learn the main shit, like the first few pages and most of the first few chapters, and you're good to go. So that's a really good book. That's one that I've been learning as well. And then for faces and stuff like that, honestly, it's just about exploring your style. Practice, practice, practice. Like for these characters that I've been making recently, I've been practicing nonstop, constantly practicing and practicing and practicing to get it to this point of where like I'm comfortable with like the way this character's face looks. So that's one thing that I've been doing. So hopefully that helps. And the same goes for like if you're doing like specialized anatomy, like if you're like, I want to do anime character anatomy, then you really got to like, you know, practice at it. Because there's not a lot of books out there that'll teach you how to do like, you know, a lot of anatomy that, you know, is very popular these days. You kind of have to just keep on practicing. But learning the fundamentals and then practicing will definitely help you. This is supposed to be more straight. So hopefully that answered your question. This should be a little bit more straight, like that. See, I'm like going into my territory of stylized characters, and I don't want to do that. There. Because there's a tendon that runs along the back of your foot that makes this a little bit more straight. There you go, like that. So if anybody was having a problem with that, don't have a problem with it anymore. Okay? It's just that easy. Jeez. Just kidding. All right. Okay, so this is her body. That is actually a material that I was working on. Where's the other material that I had? Dang. I ruined my original material. Oh well. All right. I still don't like the way the breasts are shaped, but they're really not going to be shaped well until like a few hours of work, you know, because breasts are really hard to make in 3D. They really are. Why you gotta be so cruel, bouncing all up and down. Ooh, woo, woo, woo. Okay. I think that is... And I do look at models from every single angle. So even like when I was pulling out the face anatomy for this, I was like looking at it from weird angles. Like I was looking at it from here, and I would like push in the nose and, you know, all kinds of weird things. Don't just look at it from like, you know, oh, I'm going to look at it 3/4. I'm going to look at it front. I'm going to look at it, you know, from the side. Look at it from every single angle that you can possibly get it. Like right here, I could probably pull out her cheeks a little bit more, and then that'll probably help with the facial plane of the cheeks from a certain angle, and just look at it from every single crazy way that you can. Thank you so much. We'll definitely check them out. Yeah, no problem. The boobas. Just be good at art? Yeah, easy. Easy. Yeah, that's the... Yeah, Lone, that's the one I recommended, is the Anatomy for Sculptors. It's an extremely good book. Really, really good. You can learn how to do a hip bone, and you're like, whoa, I never knew that about a hip bone. It goes like that? Holy crap, dude. Those are the kinds of things that are amazing about that book. A hip bone does what? And we're going to overlay this and kind of cut into here real quick. So right here, you're going to have two tendons that are going to go on the sides of your leg. They're going to run up to the back, but you're not going to really see these tendons as much on, you know, on the upper part of your leg on a healthier, even a heavier set female. someone who has like even just like a little bit of meat on them, you know, just a little bit of fat. You're not going to really see that. Healthy bit of muscle, you're not going to see that because there's a lot of fat padding that goes on. But you might see it going up through here and through here. So as you can see, it's kind of making the legs look like they're kind of like going out this way, like towards the side. And that all depends. I don't know. I think that might be like the natural form of like how the female stands is like kind of twisted, like their legs are a little bit twisted. I don't know. I really don't. Never really took the time to look into that, but it is appealing to have them kind of bowing out like that a little bit. I don't know why. My damn male genes are getting the best of me. But I don't know. I just like the way it looks. So there's that. Call me shallow. I don't care. How dare I like knees? I just think it's pretty crazy. All right. And these are looking pretty weird, but you just keep on refining them, and eventually they'll start to look like knees. You know, right now they just kind of look like knobs, but eventually they'll look like knees. Kind of bowing this out a little bit more. Bowing this out a little bit more. And then bowing that out ever so slightly. I still think that these should be a lot more thinner. Like the calves and everything should be a little bit more thinner, like going into that thing I said earlier about how I wanted all this stuff to be thinner. So let me try that real quick. Let me actually just grab these. Sorry. Grab these ones, soften the mask up, and then if you hold Alt, you can actually thin them from the sides. So I love the transpose tool because it really does a good job of like helping with proportions and things like that. Okay. Yeah, that's how I want it. Like really thin on the sides. Kind of thin in here. Cool. And we'll keep on refining that. Curves, spheres, objects, and 3Ds. Yeah. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just curves and spheres and shapes. Alternatively, you can use like the pinch brush to help you. Bring out this ankle bone a little bit. And like usual, the ankle bone, the inner ankle bone is actually higher than the outer one slightly. So there's that. I don't know how appealing that's going to look like on a more stylized character, to be honest. I don't really like the look of the kind of like this bone being a little bit higher. It's not very appealing for stylized characters, but it is appealing for obviously realistic people because that's just how we are. But maybe we can kind of compensate for a little bit more meat in this area. Okay. All right. So I think I'm done with her body for right now. I'm liking the way this is going. I'm gonna give it a rest and see if when I come back to it, it'll look a little bit better later on. But I think I'm done streaming for now. And if you guys have any questions, you know, leave them in the comment section if you guys are really if you guys are still curious about this. after I'm gone or whatever. But yeah, so far it's okay. I might actually just like kind of press down her chest a little bit more and maybe make it a little bit more thinner from the side, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll give it a rest my eyes for a bit, come back to it later on, and see how I like it or dislike it. So, like if we do this and take a screenshot and then go here, will it be good enough as a body? We don't know. We don't know. It could be good. Maybe not. Thank you, Hung. Thank you for chilling, hanging out. I think I might stream more on YouTube. It was fun. It was really nice to chit chat and hang out with everybody that, especially people I haven't seen in a while. So, look forward to that. Hopefully. All right. Take care, you guys, and have an amazing day. All right. Don't get into trouble. And stay healthy. More importantly than anything, stay healthy. How do I stop streaming? I don't know.